Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt, I am the American-Canadian Gamer, and today I want to talk about Quake. Now, Quake is a game that I absolutely adore. It's fast, it's chaotic, and there's always a way to improve your game. And it takes near masochistic levels of dedication to become one of the best players online. And that's where this game's biggest problem lies. One thing that shooters of today excel at is lowering their barrier of entry, which means they make it easier for new players to pick up, play the game, and enjoy it. And that's been the key to success of multiple games like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Quake, on the other hand, has a massively high barrier to entry. The game does not do any form of hand-holding, and unless you can force yourself to play match after match after match to learn the game, it won't get any easier. This drives away so many players who probably would really enjoy the game once they become accustomed to it. I believe that this high barrier of entry is the primary reason that people don't play Quake. So the answer seems simple at first. Lower the barrier of entry. Make the game easier for new players. The only problem is, when you lower the barrier, you often dumb down the game as well because that's an easy way to make it easier for new players. So, the question is, how do you make the game easier for new players without sacrificing the high skill ceiling of the game? Well, here's a few of my ideas. My first idea is to place markers on a player's HUD that indicate the location of available weapons and power-ups when they're within a certain proximity of it to help them learn the maps. Map knowledge is one of the most important skills to learn in any FPS, and Quake has some of the best maps in the genre. At the same time, the maps are very complex, and new players often have trouble finding weapons or power-ups. I know it was confusing for me at first. And then players get frustrated because they just get killed while they're trying to find their way around the map. And that's not fun for anybody, and they just end up leaving. Adding markers on the HUD would make it a bit easier for new players to learn the maps and help veteran players get acquainted with new maps faster. Obviously, make it an option that can be disabled so players can remove markers after they become used to a map, and allow it to be disabled for competitions. Now, this is pulled from Halo 4. Halo 4 has done this. They've added markers on the map that show where power weapons are, and that's partially because they have random weapon drops in some of the game modes on every map, and it's just so people know the weapon's there. But these markers are small, they don't obscure the HUD, and they're actually kind of nice. It's nice to know, hey, a weapon's back, and I think it's something that would be really helpful to new and veteran players alike. Now, I don't mean that players should be able to identify items halfway across the map. That's not what I want. Only when they're close to them. Only when they're within a certain proximity. And I don't think that this would negatively impact the competitive side of Quake for two reasons. One, just because you can find a weapon doesn't mean you can use it. And two, players that know the timing of power-ups like quad damage will be ready to grab it before it spawns, because the marker would only appear after the power-up does. Because if you're someone who's really good and you know the timing on the quad damage, you're going to be ready to pick it up as soon as it spawns, and other players that don't know the timing will only see the marker for a split second as it gets picked up. And I don't think it'll affect much anyways, because the game announces when the quad damage is picked up anyway, so I think it would be really beneficial to new players to do that. My second idea would be to change armor into energy shields. Not recharging energy shields like Halo, it would still work exactly as it does now. But, like Halo, players that have shields will glow when they're shot. This would be a way to inform a player that their target has armor. One reason I believe players stop playing a game is because they don't know why they died, and that just gets frustrating. When you go up against someone, and you think you do everything right, and they still kill you because they had armor, and you have no way to know that, that's frustrating. But if you change the armor to shields, you can remove that confusion and guesswork. Then, when you shoot an opponent and they begin to glow, you'll know, oh, hey, they have armor. And if they kill you, you know why. They were better equipped than you. This would not negatively impact the competitive side of the game in any way. It would just make it easier for new players because there's nothing wrong with giving players information about the game at hand. Now, my third idea follows along the same path of removing the confusion and letting players know why they died. Add kill cams. Call of Duty style kill cams. Now, I know this is something that many of you will probably be against because just any time Call of Duty is mentioned, that's what happens. But kill cams themselves have a lot of great advantages. Once again, it lets players know how they died, what the opponent did to win the fight. They can see how the person moved, what weapon they were using, and it just removes that guesswork of how did I die in that situation when I thought I was doing good. You can see that, oh, they landed that shot very well. This not only removes confusion, but it also gives players the chance to learn from better players. If there's somebody dominating a match, you can see those kill cams often, and you can think, oh, that's what he's doing. He's using that weapon in this way, and it just gives players a way to learn from better players and removes that confusion of how did I die. And also you should make them completely skippable. Veteran players will not always have to watch them, but you should give the option to allow that, because you can wait a few seconds before you respawn, allow the kill cam to be shown in that time. But if you want to instantly respawn, you can go ahead and skip the kill cam, no problem about it, because a lot of times, yeah, you do know why you died, but new players will probably want to watch them. I know I would. I wish the game had kill cams because of one other reason. Kill cams make it very easy to catch hackers, especially aimbotters. Because one thing I see in a lot of games, especially, games without kill cams, are accusations. Accusations of hacking. Players calling out, oh, you're aimbotting, you're wall hacking, haha, you're cheating, and you're da-da-da-da-da, and people whining and complaining and arguing. But if you watch the kill cam, you see that he's aimbotting, you can just have an admin remove him at that point. It's very simple to do. Now, my final idea is to add damage numbers to the game like Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 has an option to show damage numbers. When you shoot an opponent, a small number pops up telling you how much damage you dealt. This would give players an indication of how powerful various weapons are, and of course how much damage they have dealt to their opponents. It would let players know, oh, should I keep attacking or should I retreat? I've only done 20 damage to him despite all the hit markers I've gotten. And you could also use this in place of the energy shielding idea. Maybe if a guy has armor and you shoot him, if he has armor on, the number that pops up is a different color. And if he doesn't have armor on, the number that pops up is another color. It can just be a nice little effect like that. And I don't see damage numbers having any negative impact on competitive play. Actually, I see them helping it from a spectator standpoint at things like Quake, where if you see one player shoot another with a railgun and you see like 80 damage pop up above his head, all of a sudden all of the spectators know, oh, he just dealt 80 damage to that guy. I think it would be very helpful in that area as well. So there you have it. There are my ideas. Maybe they're good, maybe they're bad. I don't know. I'm not exactly a game developer, but I would like to see Quake do more to open up the game to newer players and less experienced players. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of hand-holding. Nothing wrong with that at all, as long as you don't damage the competitive integrity of the title. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt, and I'll see you next time.